Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 210, I guess, of the Drunk Dash Nerds podcast. I'm Tyler, as always, and joining me, we have my buddy, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
I am doing well, Tyler. We're kind of doing something a little bit different this week as we're actually recording in the smack dab in the middle of this week. We're recording on a Wednesday because we love you guys and we are going to provide some more content over the next week and a half.
Mm-hmm. We're going to be recording and editing and content producing machines over the next week or so.
Mm.
Um, I guess we'll jump into it real quick. So, obviously, we're recording this on a Wednesday night. Normally, we record on Saturday nights. But with last week being our E3 prediction show, there's some news that came out just last night and then also over the past week that we want to jump into before we went to E3 because we weren't going to get to it with E3 coming up. But Gables and I just discussed it. We kind of came up with a plan what we're going to do for this weekend and part of next week. So you're gonna get a bunch of content, a bunch of episodes from us. You're gonna get your normal show. We're gonna record on Saturday night like normal, but it's gonna be all about the E3 press conference. And then on Sunday night, we're gonna release another episode. Excuse me. It's gonna be the Microsoft and Bethesda press conference together since both of those are on Sunday. And then on Monday night, you're gonna get a Sony and Ubisoft press conference show since those are both on Monday. And then on Tuesday, finally, you'll get our thoughts on the Nintendo Direct for E3, and we'll also go over all the other like game of the show, biggest surprise, disappointments, things like that. And that'll be Tuesday. So a lot of episodes coming out. We don't mean these could be 20-minute episodes. It could be hour-long episodes. Depends on what's there for it. But yeah, just want to give you everybody a heads up what's going up there. I think Gables and I are both super excited for E3.
Yeah, this is the favorite time of the year.
Yeah, this is one of the best times to be a gamer. Is the build up to E3 and then E3 week. Outside of playing games, as far as just everything else goes, I love E3. So,
Mm.
yeah. I guess we should just kind of jump into it. I guess what the reason why we're here. I guess we'll jump into actually what happened first. So this came out last week before we recorded, but obviously we didn't get to it with the prediction stuff. But Nintendo announced their online services plans. It's going to start. It was supposed to start this fall. They said that there was going to be a free trial. What during the Switch announcement, it'd be a free trial, and then this fall they would start the Nintendo online services, or wasn't called that at the plan at the time, but you'd start paying for the online, but it was going to be free for the first 6 months or so. It's now been delayed. 2018, no release window outside of the year. It's gonna be $20 a year. I believe it was like $4 a month or $8 for 3 months.
Yep.
And there's also gonna be an NES service thing where there's gonna be. It sounds like almost like the Xbox Game Pass, where there's gonna be a handful of NES games that you can play at any time, whenever you want. No real details given on that, but they said a couple examples was Super Mario Brothers 3, Balloon Fight, and Dr. Mario. Um, I mean, what do you think? They made some changes, obviously, because it was supposed to be like you got one free game a month, and then it went away after a month. So that's the one big change of it. But they announced. I guess I'll go over a couple things real quick. So some of the things you get with it: online gameplay. You have to pay to play online. If you want to be in lobby and voice chat, use the voice chat app on your phone. You have to pay for that. The classic game selection is what's being called right now. That's the thing with NES games. And there'll be special Nintendo eShop deals. So kind of stuff you get out like the PSN network when you pay for Plus, and then the Xbox Games Live with Gold. So that's kind of the big things that's going to be in it as of right now. What are your thoughts on that so far?
My first initial thought is I like the price point. $20 for a year is fair, and also in comparison to the other services, Xbox Live and PlayStation Network, it is looked upon as a fantastic deal in the eyes of consumers because here you have a new system that just launched. I mean, yeah, it's a pain in the ass that you still in this day and age have to pay in order to play games online with people, considering how PC users have been playing pretty much for the most part for free with other people online for years. But the benefit of having this, obviously, is sort of like a Netflix inspired sort of game thing that Nintendo is offering. I mean, at the moment they have a couple of NES games, so who knows how much they're going to expand upon it. I'm pretty much excited for what they are eventually going to do with it. I'm also glad they gave us the common courtesy of going through and experiencing the free online at least till the end of the year. I mean, that's a big, good one right there.
Yeah, possibly longer. Who knows when this could be fall of next year. This releases.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that point, it's like, why the hell are you paying for online?
Yeah.
But I kind of like the idea in and of itself, because it's like you're playing online with people and stuff. You're playing online, like, say, with, obviously with ARMS is coming up, with Splatoon 2. I mean, this is a fantastic thing for Nintendo fans, too, because here you have a system right now where you're basically being the guinea pigs and trying out how the online gameplay stuff is for two of the major releases that are for the Switch for multiplayer purpose-wise. So for, like, what is it, like about a week or so from now? Like, nearly a week from now, you have ARMS that release.
Week and a half, next Friday.
Yeah, week and a half. And then towards the end of July, you have Splatoon 2, so we're going to see firsthand how well the Nintendo's infrastructure is going to hold in terms of demand for online stuff. So, yeah, that's an exciting thing to see. But, I like the way they announced their online service stuff.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you a little bit on it. I mean, it is kind of weird that it sucks that, you're getting it for a year, maybe a year or so, for free, and then also you got to pay for it, especially with... You look at the big online games they've announced so far. Obviously, you got E3 coming up, and who knows what's going on down the pipeline. But the big online games, ARMS and Splatoon 2 and Mario Kart 8, are already going to be out and been out for a long time by the time this comes out. So my question so much is there going to be a lot of online games to support this long time, like a long term? Because I'm only going to go back to Splatoon 2 and ARMS so much, especially at that a year later. But at the same time, I said this a while back when they first announced they're going to start charging us for this, that $20, $30 at most for this thing. With what they have, what they're showing right now, I feel like if any more, it'd be well overpriced. And $20, that's a fair price point, I think. And when you're gaming is not a cheap hobby at all.
Fuck no.
Even if you're just a casual gamer, and we're not casual gamers, so we spend a lot of money every year on gaming. So
we choose to.
yeah, we do. I don't even. I'm sure if I calculate how much money I spent so far this year on video games, I would probably throw up. But $20 in the scheme of things is a drop in the barrel. Like if we're complaining about $20 a year, then we should argue the fact of why the hell you're playing games. So it's not bad. And if you don't want to spend $20 a month or $20 for at a time, it's $4 a month. You can try it out and you can drop out if you want to. So I mean, it's not a bad deal. I don't see. My thing is like long term. How are they going to keep people coming back? I'm sure the first year or so will probably be they'll do gangbusters on this, but I'm just curious in 2019, 2020. What's the landscape gonna look like? Because I don't mind paying $60 a year for Xbox and PlayStation's online services, because there's a million games that come out every week that you use for online. And so that's fine. So that's just the one thing is content for this, but the classic game selection, that's cool. I hope it's not NES only. Just personally, I'd like to see some other stuff in there, but I'm happy they're not. If that's a route they go and it's a Netflix type thing or Xbox Game Pass kind of thing, and they just rotate stuff out, if it's like a handful of games every month and just rotate stuff out, that could be kind of cool. Like I said, though, I hope it's not NES only. I hope it's like some SNES stuff, 64 stuff, and then possibly GameCube stuff. But yeah, I without really knowing a whole lot about it, well, maybe we'll hear more E3, or I bet there'll be a direct sometime later this year, early next year, going over more details about it. But I don't hate it. That's what I'll say. I'm at this point, I'll probably get it, especially if my prediction is true about Smash Brothers coming out day and date with Nintendo Online Services, which makes the most sense. That's probably gonna be your biggest online game of next year, knowing what we know right now for games. So it would make the most sense to have a reason to buy it on top of when probably one of your biggest games for online comes out. So next up, There was a Pokemon Direct last night, or yeah, I guess yesterday afternoon. I watched it last night, I guess. But it was 8 minutes long. Had a decent amount of detail, decent amount of information come out of it. I'll just run through it real quick. First up, Pokken Tournament DX. It's the deluxe version of Pokken Tournament that came out, I think, last spring. It's coming out for the Switch. It's gonna have 5 new characters. They've added some like ranked battles and a couple other like I think 3v3 battle mode too. That is coming out September 22nd for the Switch, and then also Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon coming out November 17th. And those are coming to 3DS only. There was a couple sites put up Switch and 3DS, so like people were going crazy for like an hour or so on the internet until Nintendo squashed our hearts and said no, 3DS only. So you're the Pokemon guy, so I'm gonna kind of take this one, but I'm curious what you have to say.
Well, let's see. From reading various comments and stuff along the lines, it was heavily rumored coming into this direct that possibly Game Freak was going to announce something along the lines of a mainline Pokemon game for the Nintendo Switch. But to be perfectly honest, I was not expecting a mainline Pokemon game for the Nintendo Switch at this current time, only because, for one, it's been only a year since the release of Sun and Moon, and also on top of that, it's like, who has the bigger install base right at the moment?
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo 3DS. It's over 8 million strong, and the Switch has just barely released into the market, and there's still supply demands for the thing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense at this point in time to release a mainline Pokemon game on the Nintendo Switch in its current format. Maybe in the next 3 or 4 years when we have another generation of Pokemon games, then yeah, it would make most sense to release on that device or whatever type of handheld device Nintendo comes out with next, because hell, this is Nintendo. They always come out of left field when it comes to this shit.
Yeah.
But my overall thoughts, I thought it was a strange choice to go ahead and announce Pokken Tournament Deluxe first off in this direct, because it kind of made the Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon announcement for the 3DS just like minuscule, kind of like, oh hey, let's fit this announcement in between, oh, Pokken Tournament DX, blah blah blah, and so on and so forth. Another thing I kind of felt was I felt legitimately burned by the Pokken Tournament DX announcement, considering I've barely owned the Wii U version for a year, especially since the game released. I had no fucking idea that they were going to release a Switch version. Not only that, but there is more content in this. 5 new characters, all of which look like they're incredibly fun to play. Sort of a 3v3 kind of, say, how certain fighting games like Marvel vs. Capcom and Skullgirls kind of do the same thing in that type of genre. So, I feel relatively angry that now I have to go through on September, if I want to, and purchase this game again for $60 on my Switch in order to get the most experience, the most bang for my buck. I don't have to do that, but to be perfectly honest, I'm probably going to end up doing that thing because, for one, I love fighting games. I like the Pokemon games, and you know what? Pokken Tournament is a great game. I know, I've played it off and on over the past 4 or 5 months. But the best part about this announcement was none of the new stuff. It was it was not Pokken Tournament. It was not Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, which, hell, we'll get into more details the months leading up into there. The most exciting announcement for me was the announcement of Gold and Silver, the classic Game Boy Color games, finally coming to the Virtual Console, day and date with Pokken Tournament Deluxe.
Yep, September 22nd.
I was in my work break room, and I almost fucking cried when I saw that, because it has literally been over 10, possibly even 12 years since I had a chance to play through those 2 games originally, because my games that I've owned, the batteries have crapped out of them, and I can no longer save my data. Damn. I do not want to go through ROMs, the actual illegal ROMs on the internet, because that's not the fucking same as going through and playing it on a Nintendo handheld and controlling it that way. Plus, it has online trading features similar to what the Virtual Console versions of Red and Blue had. I mean, you can go through, you can trade Pokemon wirelessly through your 3DS systems. You can go through, transfer Pokemon you catch in the game and transfer them to Pokemon game, Pokemon Bank, excuse me, and go through and transfer them to Sun and Moon or Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon and stuff like that. That is the missing generation to transfer your Pokemon. Because here's the thing. Some of you kids may not realize this listening to this. But when the Pokemon games, the first 2 generations were out, when it transferred to the 3rd generation, which was Game Boy Color, they literally had no way to transfer that old content and all your creatures you've been working hundreds of hours just to train and to evolve and to fill your Pokedex. You had no way to transfer them onto Ruby and Sapphire. And you know what? As a Pokemon fan back then, that's heartbreaking. Because if you literally did fill out the Pokemon dexes, the Pokedexes, like I did for Pokemon Blue and for Pokemon Gold, and especially, not being able to transfer them to the actual Ruby and Sapphire games and stuff like that, even though there is a national dex option, man, that was really just a kick in the pants as a kid. But at least now with these current announcements, not only do I get to relive the classic style of Pokemon Gold and Silver, personally, two of my most favorite handheld games I've ever played, and get to experience them as fall, I mean, hell, I'm happy. I'm more than happy about it. That makes up for the entirety of the Direct, to be perfectly honest. But as a Direct in general, I felt overall that it led to the tone of disappointment. Why? Because you had Pokken Tournament Deluxe, which only maybe fans of the original game may have possibly even wanted, but the main focus was on what else they would go through for the next mainline Pokemon games. And yeah, it did deliver, but not in the way that people thought it was going to do. In my personal opinion, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, hey, that's fine. They're going to Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, for that type of routine, where the game itself is set in a different dimensional type of storyline or something like that. I mean, what the fuck is this? You're going to go through, you're going to have, the Alola region for Sun and Moon, and all of a sudden you're going to go through and, switch everything, in terms of storylines and, everything else. So, I am fascinated in seeing what new creatures are going to appear inside these versions, because I know Game Freak has went on record in saying there are going to be Pokemon that previously were not catchable or previously not in these versions that originally, that were not in Sun and Moon and stuff, that are not in those new games. It's okay, I'm interested in seeing them. I mean, personally, I am at the point where I feel like I don't really want to play my 3DS anytime soon, but what I'm basically saying is I am so fucking surprised that I'm still being told, hey, I gotta play my 3DS still. And still, it's my Nintendo Switch. I have my Nintendo Switch. I want to play Pokemon games on my Switch, and I don't want to go back to my fucking 3DS if I don't have to.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I came away from it. And, not being, I bought Pokemon Yellow. I played the shit out of Pokemon X. I love that game. Ruby and Sapphire remakes they made, I didn't really care for it. Pokemon Sun and Moon, great games, but just couldn't get into it. I didn't finish them, but I liked it. And going into it, the Pokemon Gold and Silver stuff, I'm kind of excited for. I kind of wish it would came out in the middle of summer though, when a dead zone.
Oh no shit! I mean, they could have totally released them sooner. And there's one thing I just realized here: where the fuck is Pokemon Crystal?
Yeah. I mean, they didn't. That's a good point, because we got Red, Blue, and Yellow last year,
and now just Gold and Silver. I mean, the Crystal version was the best one out of those for that trilogy.
It's a definitive version of that, just like Yellow is for the Red and Blue. Yeah, I mean that makes sense, because I was thinking, I'm probably gonna buy one. Which one do I want to buy? Because I bought them all back in the day. I bought the first 6: Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal. And so it's if I just buy Crystal if that's available. And I hope it changes and that comes out. But yeah, that stuff's kind of cool. I like that. But my argument with that though is I get 3D putting on 3DS makes sense. There's 70 or 80 million out in the wild right now.
Yep.
Makes perfect sense to put those on 3DS. the same time, though, I don't. I you can make a good argument why they put them on 3DS to the Switch. That's a big argument right there. Install base,
Yes.
80 million to 4 or 5 million. But I can't. Well, why don't you put Gold and Silver on the Switch? Why don't you put Ultra Sun and Moon? Do a port over to the Switch.
Yep.
Like, there's no reason. Not even you don't have to upres it. Just say, hey, it's on the Switch. It's just a port of the 3DS version, and because the 3DS version doesn't use 3D anyways, so it's not like you're gonna do anything. It's just port it over, and it's probably gonna be the better version because it won't be any lag or anything like that.
Right.
So yeah, I feel, and maybe we still got E3 coming up. Maybe they're gonna say the big stuff for that. I hope not, because this was their like really like this is coming out before all the E3 announcements are coming out. This would be the best time to, if you got something big, do it now. We got 4 or 5 days before E3 starts. This is where you're gonna have the most amount of tension on you. Do it now. So I'm hoping. On one hand, I'm holding out hope that, because I would love to see, as a lifelong fan of Pokemon, not the biggest one I used to be, obviously, but as a big fan of Pokemon, I would love to finally see, for the fans that are out there still today, and for myself, my 8-year-old self, would love to see a Pokemon game on the freaking console.
Right.
And I mean, it now makes the most sense more than any other time. So I don't know. I mean, it was a bummer, especially with the like you were talking about the Pokken Tournament on DX, making people rebuy a 1-year-old game, and adding five new characters. That just sounds.
That's just the thing, Tyler. It's absolutely ridiculous to expect your consumer base, especially if they're the fan of a franchise, 1 year go through. This is kind of like how the same questions I raised to Call of Duty players like every year or something like that. You're basically buying the same game each year with like minor differences maybe in story and stuff like that. For Pokemon fans, in this situation, it's even worse because you could have basically have just waited another year, not even played Pokken Tournament, and already it's on the new system, just with just new characters, new content and stuff like that. At least. And here's the thing. People may compare this, like, say, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe to, like, Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U. At least there was so many years of a gap before that kind of release.
3 years.
But now it's like a year or something like that.
Yeah, 3 years and 16 new tracks added to this game, and plus a bunch of new characters. This one, you're adding 5 new characters to this game, and 3v3 mode. So, yeah, there's not... Yeah, if this comes out and it's like $40, which I doubt it will be, then okay. But $60 again, no, too much.
I would be more accepting if it was, say, like $30.
Yeah, and it sucks
if it was half the price. Yeah.
Yeah, and it sucks too because it's like I was with the price goes down, but Nintendo games prices don't go down. So maybe in 2020 when it might go down to $50 and you can buy it then. Yeah. So overall, disappointing. I think Direct. Going in what we were hoping for. I think we were hoping for the moon, and we didn't quite get that, or really not much anywhere near that. I'm sure Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon is going to sell like gangbusters. In Gold, Silver, I imagine will. But yeah, I agree with you. It's just like the Switch is out there now. I don't want to play my 3DS anymore. Like I don't want to play it anymore. It's done. It's over. It's dead to me. If you got a Switch, the 3DS is probably dead to you. And it's just
I know, and it just seems like Nintendo wants to spread out the 3DS for like another year, when it just feels like it's like another fish in the water. It's like the 3DS came out in 2011. It's had various remodels. It has a faster processor now with the new 3DS models, and now there's a new 2DS model. Yeah. And now here we are, we have games that are still supporting this system, even well after the fact that the Switch is out. The Vita is pretty much dead, other than like a couple other types of things right here. And what's the purpose of the 3DS right now, other than like say what Nintendo's doing to support it?
Yeah.
Because right now, I thought personally that Sun and Moon was like the last big hurrah for Nintendo to put on their 3DS stuff. But now these two other Pokemon games, it is really kind of mind-boggling that they're still going through and having consistent new content on the system when there's the Switch that does pretty much the same type of fucking games. All you need to do is just
Yeah.
like up-res them a bit.
Yeah, and it's like on one hand you're like maybe Ultra Sun Ultra Moon's a swan song for this console, but then it's like well the 2DS new 2DS is coming out here soon. I think next month or sometime this month, and it's like well I mean I doubt I don't see that I can't see how they're gonna release a console a new version of their console and then 5 months later kill it. So
Well, yeah.
this tells me that 2018 they're probably gonna be supporting it. Maybe not get high quality stuff, but
Well,
Pokemon Ultra Sun Ultra Moon might all realistically be the last big huge game on it. But I could see them going in 2018. That might actually be another. That might actually be the swan song for the 3DS 2DS.
for the one piece of evidence that does support that Nintendo is going to have support for the 3DS come, or like say 2018, I saw a leak for another Shin Megami Tensei game that's going to be releasing early 2018.
Yeah.
So yeah, they are definitely probably going to do another full, maybe like a half a year, maybe like a full year until that console just pretty much ceases productions, or who knows. But
Yeah, and another point is that the Fire Emblem Warriors game is coming to 3DS. So,
yes,
and that's coming. So here's what I was thinking. So they announced September 22nd for Pocket Tournament. So that tells me that Mario and Rabbids game was rumored August September release date. I'm betting money that that game comes out in August now. You got Pocket Tournament in September. I'll bet Fire Emblem Warriors is October, and then I'm going to say November 17th is Mario Odyssey.
oh my
Those are my
god,
E3 predictions.
Yeah, day and date with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Yeah, that
That's
makes sense.
Nintendo loves to do that. They love to release their big 3DS game of the year with their big handheld or home console version game of the year. So, or whatever the biggest game for both consoles usually comes out the same day. Like Super Mario 3D World and Link Between Worlds come out on the same day. Things
Oh,
like
that's
that.
right.
So I wouldn't be. That's we're gonna get a game, a big game from Nintendo every month for the rest of the year, or well, not including December probably. So
And we don't even know about August either. I mean, we have June, July, and then like September, October,
yeah,
November.
that's why
You know,
that's why I think the Mario Rabbids game makes sense for August. Then gives every game a month, their own month to give their own spotlight. So. Well, let's move on to some more. This has kind of been up and down kind of week really for Nintendo.
it is.
So some news came out about the E3 Direct that Nintendo's going to have on Tuesday morning. It's only going to be about 30 minutes. So that that concerns me. On one hand, I love the Direct because it's just so fast paced, so quick. They talk about a lot of stuff in a short amount of time. That's why I always hate like Ubisoft is the worst of them. When they'll bring a person out, sit down, discuss a game for they'll bring 30 people out there over the course of the presentation and talk about every single game for 5 to 10 minutes. And I hate that. With the directs, I always love them because you're just like I said, fast paced. They do a lot of stuff in a short amount of time, but 30 minutes, even in the direct form, doesn't sound like a lot of time. If you really, for me anyways, looking at like what I really want out of this direct. Like I mentioned in the prediction show, I want big stuff for not just this year. I want them to talk about next year. And they said they weren't going to talk about next year at all. It's only 2017 stuff, which with a 30-minute direct kind of makes sense because you got to think they're going to mention ARMS. They're going to mention Splatoon 2. They're probably going to mention like Hey Pikmin, Moon, Ultra Sun and Moon, maybe not Pocket Tournament. They're going to talk about the 3DS a decent amount. You got to think the 3DS is going to take up 5 of those minutes. And then you got to think that the ARMS Splatoon stuff might take another 5 or 10 minutes of that up. They're going to talk about Fire Emblem Warriors. The Mario Rabbids stuff's probably going to be talked about. Amiibo shit's probably going to be announced. And then Mario Odyssey is probably going to take up a third of that time, minimum. So really, it makes you can make a good argument, and it's not an argument I want to make that it's just going to be 2017 stuff. Maybe we'll get like a short little teaser here and there, which I'm hoping for, of stuff coming out next year and later on. But yeah, I mean, if they come in and there's no real big surprises, it's just hey, here's what you got for this year, and that's it. See you next year. That's kind of a bummer for me. What about you?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, you could like also make an argument though that with the Pokemon stuff out of the way, they actually have more time to actually go into what this year is going to curtail. I mean,
Yeah,
Obviously, the worst case scenario for this direct is they're just going to address all the games that we already know about inside for the rest of the year and just explain certain aspects of them in like almost excruciating detail. We're probably more than likely going to see like maybe a couple minute like gameplay trailer for Super Mario Odyssey, because why the hell not? The game's coming out in November. We need to have some sort of like other gameplay footage than what we have for the unveil. We're going to see more stuff from like the Fire Emblem Warriors stuff. Obviously, like he was just saying, hey, Pikmin, and like just basically games we already know, and it just kind of leads you wonders like, what the hell else could they be possibly, where's there room for like some of the new content that we really want to know about? It's like,
yeah,
are they going to actually confirm like other types like virtual console games? Because when
yeah,
they
yeah.
released their online stuff, they said what type of games and stuff like that for that, but they never went into detail. They actually stated this is different than what they're doing with virtual console. So this is something that is most curious to me. How long are they going to talk about that, if they even mention it? Is there even going to be a possibility that they may actually unveil like some like from retro games, like retro studios inside this type of aspect too? Because if it's just 2017 stuff, it's like, okay, I I know for a fact Nintendo has a track record of just going and announcing what they want in a specific time frame. Then maybe like a couple weeks later they'll say something else for another thing. So we probably more than likely are not going to get any type of other like new surprises, because they've already proven they don't have to announce their best stuff at E3 in order for the stuff to actually sink in. Hell, the last couple of years they've actually came out like maybe like a couple weeks to like a month later and confirmed some other new stuff. We had like a Smash Direct, I think it was like a year or two ago or so.
Yeah,
Then had all that DLC stuff and this and that.
yeah.
It is really kind of disappointing though. It's like, I know the typical Nintendo Directs normally run around like 35 to like 40 minutes and stuff like that, but sometimes they're fast paced. But yeah, I am kind of concerned what is going to be new inside this Direct.
Yeah, and that's my main problem. If this was like a normal direct or whatever, cool. Like when they say like this is the Arms Splatoon 2 direct, okay. I'm not expecting much more. If we get anything more, that's cool. But E3 is different, I think, than anything else. It should be. That's why we love E3 so much. It's the surprises. It's
Yep.
here's more details about stuff you might know about. Here's release dates. Here's anything you can imagine. Sometimes it's like people joke about last year was like the year of dreams for a lot of E3 press conferences, um, and it just tells me that Nintendo is like, hey, here's what we got to show you, and here's what you're gonna get. And that's a good point. Like the virtual console stuff, I can almost see that. Like what if that doesn't come out until 2018 with the Nintendo Online Services kind of thing?
Well, I
Like,
would argue that also that's something separate in terms of the online stuff. I mean,
yeah,
they could technically go through and possibly have GameCube sort of virtual console games if they choose to, say, unveil that. Because there have been rumors of, like, possible games like Super Mario Sunshine, like maybe Super Smash Bros. Melee and stuff. If they were going to do, like, a versus thing, they more likely maybe try to do online stuff for some of the multiplayer GameCube games as well. Maybe that's probably one of the
yeah,
lines of surprise that they have in store for us. But yeah, you know what? They don't necessarily have to have an online like multiplayer type of service and stuff in order to announce their virtual console content.
no, but I'm just wondering if that might be a thing they do. But I hope not. I hope it comes out like soon, or they say something about at least give us something about the virtual console. Especially if it's GameCube stuff, that'd be great to see. But yeah, that'd be awesome. Like they like Super Smash Bros. Melee is out with virtual console and online. You can play it online. There you go. Like that should be awesome, especially if they did it like here soon. Like it's out now, kind of thing, and like that holds you over until Smash Bros. Deluxe comes out next year, or the room possibly next year. And I mean, I wonder about the Xenoblade Chronicles X or 2, whatever the hell it's called. I'm wondering if that comes out this year, because I mean they said this year at the announcement for the Switch.
If it's this year, it's probably going to be in the window of possibly December or January.
Because
That's where I see it.
Yeah, because X came out in December. The last Xenoblade that came out for the Wii U. So I can see that being a December game for this year if it does come out. But yeah, that's kind of really it. I mean, like I said, kind of up and down, like some positives, but like it's kind of tough to be positive about some of the other things I talked about. Or like there's cool stuff coming out, but they could have done better, kind of thing with Nintendo.
Well, yeah.
But before we head out of here, what's up with the ARMS test punch? We didn't talk about last week.
No shit.
A few days ago, I guess. But they had another test punch this past weekend. I played a shit ton of test punch. Did you play any more?
I only played like the Saturday night before we actually recorded our podcast and stuff. Okay. But I totally missed Sundays because I forgot they didn't have like a 5 p.m. for Sunday nights on that thing. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it is bullshit.
Bullshit artist. Yeah, but it's still good. It's so good, guys. It is. Oh man, like they added some new stuff to it. They added what the hell is that called? Like the one where you hit the targets.
Skill shots.
Skill shot, yeah, that one's pretty cool. And they also added basketball, which basketball's kind of fun where you grab your opponent and you dunk them, or you can like use your special and bounce them off the little bouncy stuff, trampoline stuff on the side of the map, and knock them in. That's pretty cool. But I've been using Ribbon Girl a lot now, and I'm deeply in love with Ribbon Girl right now. She might be new. I'm gonna main her so hard. That's what I was planning on doing. Yeah. No, man, I can't wait. The reviews actually came out today for it on Wednesday. I don't know if you've been seeing any, but it's been getting. I've been seeing a lot of 7s to like 8.5s for score wise. So about where I expected, a little better honestly than what I expected going before I played the game for the first time. But where have you? You still into ARMS?
Yes, I want to buy it day and date and stuff. I don't trust any of the reviews right now. I know that I want to play this game, and more than likely, I would actually suggest this to the people who are even on the fence about playing ARMS and stuff. If you love fighting games, if you love like new Nintendo IP and stuff like that, this is a game that you should not sleep on. It's a great game.
Yeah, especially if you're like. If you have a Switch and you're looking for shit to play on it, if you didn't buy like Mario Kart 8 or Puyo Puyo Tetris, like all you played on was Zelda, I mean, I think you should try this out. I mean, the only downside is it's $60, but at the same time, they had the test punches. Test punches. You should have checked them out. They're not doing them anymore, unfortunately. Hope they put like a demo up or something. But yeah, I think it's great. So the same concerns content-wise. What the hell are we gonna do with it outside the Grand Prix mode? But I think as long as the online holds up, I don't expect this to be a game I'm going to put in 2-3 hours every day for. But if for a month or so I play it every day maybe not every day, but if I play it for a couple hours a week for a month or two, I think that's great. At least it holds me over till Splatoon. I'm cool with that. And then as I'll go back to it as they add new content. I mean, I can't. For what I am as a fighting game fan, and that's not a big one. Like I like the Injustice games and stuff like that, obviously, but. Yeah, I think it's cool. I'm pretty excited for that. The only thing that sucks is it comes out on Friday. I'd rather it came out on Tuesday because I want to get this game sooner rather than later. Yeah. Anything more you want to add to it?
Oh yeah. Actually, have playing the test punch and stuff over the weekend and stuff. I had a chance to play as Min Min, who has that little dragon. Has that little dragon punch, like Thunder Dragon Punch and stuff like that, and a lot of the other stuff. I really liked playing as Min Min because she's very agile. She's very, she has a lot of, like, distraction sort of techniques and stuff like that. And I actually went on a winning spree. I actually won, like, about 7 games or so in a row as Min Min, going through, 2 versus 2, 1 versus 3. There was actually triple threat and, fatal 4-way matches, which...
So good!
I love that. I felt like I was actually doing an actual fucking wrestling match for a minute.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, look, it's a triple threat. Who's gonna fight each other? It's like I literally have faced off against opponents who are either beating each other up or something, and then they focus their attacks on me. And there was literally one match that I played as Min Min where it came down to myself and like one other person, and we were trying to beat the crap out of each other, but I managed to dodge something just the last second, and I managed to survive with a sliver of health and win the fucking
Those are
battle
the best.
royal.
I love when you get down like it's like one punch, next punch wins kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's like how frantic it gets. It's so good, man.
but I also had the time to play as Twintel.
Yeah, Twintella, I think.
Yes, I had the chance to play as Twintel last Saturday, and oh my gosh, it's like this character is really interesting because she is a little bit more like balanced out in terms of she's not a speedster. She's kind of balanced in terms of speed. But what she has a lot of distraction and support techniques too when you're doing like tag team battles and stuff. So basically, she has the arms move and stuff where it shoots these projectile like birds and stuff at your opponent and stuff like that, and just basically can act as if you have both of them equipped on like in a tag team match or like whatever, it will actually bombard your opponents and stuff, and then just you can go through and like have your teammate or something like that just go and just start wailing on them and stuff. I went with an arms combination where I had like a regular like glove and stuff, and I had this parasol. And the parasol acts as sort of like a deflector or something for projectiles and other types of like random like punches and stuff. I was going through phases and stuff where I was actually shooting off the parasol first and just mixing like matching and stuff, doing random jumps and just going through. Just tried to confuse my opponent to the extent where getting them to just punch in my direction, just do like a quick punch, like a quick like jab or something, just run away and stuff. My God, every time I play this game, it feels like I'm playing a chess match because I have to be precise with when I want to time my punches, what type of combination that I want to have with my fighter in terms of what type of arms that they'll bring into the battle, how I'm going to jump in a certain extent. Do I want to grab this opponent right now, or do I want to just try to throw a punch or something like that and they'll counteract it with like a heavy punch? It is definitely a time. It's really interesting.
Yeah. I think I told you last weekend after we recorded, I played it, and there's this one guy named Yo.
Yep.
And we just got into this like huge like rivalry, and we fought each other a bunch of times, 1-1, and I think he probably bested me in the end. I think we fought like maybe 3 or 4 times. He beat me 2 or 3 of those times, and but every single fight came down to like we were both at like a sliver of health, and there's a few times where we got in like the triple threat where everybody gets each other, or fatal 4-way where it's everybody fighting each other, and we just like immediately go after each other and start like just didn't even care about anybody else, just like immediately fought each other, and it was so great because like, there's no chat. It's just like you're just fighting people, and it was just like right away we just go like, oh, Yo's in the match. Looks like I know him fight. We actually had one that was really funny. We did a triple threat, so everybody gets each other, and the one person, it was me, Yo, and some other person, and Yo and I actually went in front of each other and just pummeled each other, and the other person stood off to the side. I think took a few punches. I think they had 3/4 of the health left, and Yo and I knocked each other out at the same exact time, and then the other person won. we didn't even care. So even if one of us would have won, we would have fought the other person and would have lost almost immediately because we had like no health left.
Yep.
It was so great, like super little rivalry, and it's fun. I like that. The only thing I really don't like about it's a party mode kind of thing. You go in there within the server with like 8 or 9 people, is you can't pick like what kind of modes, what kind of fights you want to do, whether it's 1v1 or 2v2 or basketball, volleyball, or fatal 4-way, triple threat, whatever. There's no options for that. I hope that something changed. I think there is like a ranked mode you can go into, and you can kind of pick what you want to do. But I don't know. I mean, that could be I think that's what it was. I think I read a couple of reviews today, and I could have misinterpreted that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely excited for it. Obviously, I think we both are. So I know we both are. So it's gonna be a good week next week with E3, and then also ARMS at the end of the week. So it's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
Also,
go
ahead.
Well, that's just awesome, like E3, and then all of a sudden at the end of the week is like ARMS that we can just play some shit.
Mm-hmm. Perfect cap for the week. I wanted to mention something before we head out. Talked about a few weeks ago. I got to that Extra Life goal, $500.
Yep.
I'm getting the Extra Life logo tattooed on my arm. I set the date. It is on Wednesday. I'm going to go get my tattoo. So,
yay!
For people wondering about it, that's when I'm going to go do it. As long as I don't wuss out, probably going to take a couple shots and some aspirin before I go, because I've never got a tattoo before. So, yeah, that's what everybody know about that. Before we head out, I'm going to do the goal spiel real quick. If you like the show and you want to hear more from us, we're on Facebook page and group, Drunk Dash Nerds on there. So like and join us on Twitter. We're at Drunk Nerds Pod. Follow us on there, and then on YouTube, Drunk Nerds Podcast, Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast. Sorry. Subscribe to us on there and like the videos because the podcast goes up there. Also on iTunes, we're Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast. So or not give us a 5-star review and a comment. That'd be great. We'll shout you out on the show if you do. And then also on Twitch, Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast. So follow us on there. So all the places, check us out. Thank you guys so much for listening to us. I hope you enjoy this special edition of the midweek Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast. I was your host. We'll see you Saturday. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. And until whenever we do our next podcast, later, everyone.
Bye. That's it's Saturday, by the way. We're doing our next podcast.
Yeah, it's Saturday. Yes, of course, it's Saturday.
and Sunday, and Monday, and then Tuesday, and then possibly next Saturday. Who knows? We'll see how we're feeling.
Hey, you know what, Tyler? You know what would be kind of funny?
What?
Is like if some sort of major announcement came between like today and then like through freaking Friday or something like that, and we had to record again
during the recording of this podcast. Nintendo announces Pokemon Stars or something. Yeah.
Oh my god, that'd be fucking funny.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, later, everyone.
Bye. Don't drink and drive. See you in a few days. Talk to you in a few days. Whatever. Listen to us in a few days. I'm rambling.